The Corvette, without a doubt, North America's very first muscle car. But you know, the year 1993 has been a good news, bad news year for the Corvette. First, the good news, it's celebrating its 40th anniversary. The bad news, rumors that the future of the Corvette could be in doubt. We'll talk more about that later on when we visit with Canada's first Corvette Club. But we're going to begin by meeting a gentleman who owns a stretch limo. Now that may not seem unique, but, well, watch this. We had to go to the airport to find Jim and his limo. The airport parking lot, that is. Although this car would probably feel more comfortable on the runway. The nameplate says Mercedes, but that's as close as it gets to the real thing. This Benz is powered by a jet engine, and it was on its way to Cayuga Motorsports Park in Cayuga, Ontario.
It's a 1989 500 SEC Mercedes stretch jet limousine. The car weighs 1,800 or about 2,000 pounds, has 18,000 horsepower. She'll run the quarter mile at 267 miles an hour. We've had her over 300 miles an hour, but like in an air show. We have a Westinghouse J34-36, which comes out of the Navy fighter, the Banshee Navy fighter. It was a Korean War, Vietnam vintage, and it has a two-stage afterburner.
Tell us what they're doing right now.
Okay, right now we have to prime this engine with gasoline, unleaded fuel. We're draining the old fuel system, and what we're doing is we fill this up. It starts on gasoline till the other jet fuel comes in, and then it overrides the system. But you do want to prime it on gas. You get an easier light, especially if it's windy.
What was the challenge? I mean, they stretch limos now. It's done every day. But what was the challenge in putting this together? And
everybody said I couldn't do it. That's one of the main things. They said I went to NHRA, National Hot Rod Association, got approval with them before I even started it. Didn't tell anybody, so everybody says there's no way you can do it. It's against the rules, and this doesn't fit that. The car will blow apart. It'll disintegrate. So I was more or less like a test pilot, and we had to. The car runs flawless.
What did you know about jet engines beforehand, and how much did you have to know, or your crew have to know, before you started fiddling around with it?
I knew nothing. I helped overhaul the engine with the gentleman that helped build my car, which is a certified jet mechanic, and now I know very much, quite a bit. My crew chief is very experienced, 10 years in the field, and they're very simple, but yet you have to know what your clearances and tolerances are very, very critical. Cocktails, anybody? We're going to be going on a wild chauffeur ride today, 270 miles an hour.
What worries you the most when you're sitting in there?
Driving to the races with everybody on the freeway, to be honest with you.
I mean, can there be problems?
Yeah, I've crashed twice, and almost it's very safe. I feel real safe and comfortable in there. I've crashed at 230, flipped 16 times, disintegrated the car, broke my legs up, my ribs, and my vertebrae in my neck, and I was banged up pretty good. Then I burned another one to the ground. So I've had my share of fun, but it is, Brad, it's very safe. You can't get any safer for the speed you're going. For safety reasons, we like to have an ambulance and a fire crew on board. I have an onboard fire system, which is Halon, which sprays on me. To heck with the car, right? But it's nice to have some other kind of vehicles around to make you feel a little bit more safer, because accidents do happen. I got the power switch on, the igniters come on, schedule fuel as soon as he hooks up. He's got to bring the truck alongside. I have about 80 passes on the car. It's relatively new. It was finished in August of last year. And what's going through my mind, generally, you don't have time to have anything go through your mind. You're very nervous before you get in the car and jittery. You get strapped in the car and they say fire it off. You forget there's anybody there. You forget about everything in your life, and you concentrate, and your mind takes over. You throw fuel to the afterburner, pull the trigger, and you're there. You don't even have time to think. If you have time to think, something's wrong. my brakes on as tight as I can. And as you see, she was still four-wheel sliding. And I wasn't even up to full power yet. And then I usually throw fuel to the burner, count to 2, hit the button, and you're gone. Pinpoint a target, you don't blink your eyes, you don't breathe because of the G-force, so you're holding your breath, your eyes are frozen open, and you pick a target, and that's what you know. You don't take your eyes off that target, and that's where you end up. Point it and pull the trigger. The G-forces are so strong, it's like having 3 fat ladies squeezing against you on your lap. I mean, they weigh about 300 pounds apiece, seriously. It's crushing you back in the seat. And then you get your first initial blast, then about 8th mile, the thing really comes alive. We'll do our last 8th mile in 1.something seconds, 1.3 seconds. And our first one, it takes 4 seconds to get there. So it gives you an idea of how you're pulling in the G's in the last 8th mile. So it's incredible. It's definitely something to experience.